Great speeches have moved, persuaded, and rallied people for generations. But there are some fundamental elements that go into making a speech great. Simon Lancaster, one of the country's leading speech writers, reveals some of these basic rules which date back to ancient Greece.
The master of rhetoric was Aristotle back in around 350 BC, and he wrote this wonderful text called Rhetoric, which to me is still the Bible. Aristotle said that rhetoric was based upon three things. You have ethos, which is the character of the speaker, his credibility, whether or not the audience trust him. Then you have pathos, which is the emotions of the audience. And then you have logos, which is the reasoning of the argument.
Rhetoric, the art of persuading and pleasing people, was a valued part of a traditional education, and many of the key elements of rhetoric still hold good to this day. Tom Clark is the editor of Historic 20th Century Speeches.
Traditionally, rhetoric was an elite activity. What changed it was the advent of democracy, where suddenly the elite had to reach out beyond their own in order to try and change people's minds. The modern age in rhetoric really begins with an address that lasted only 2 minutes in 1863 at Gettysburg.
Abraham Lincoln delivered the famous Gettysburg Address during the American Civil War in 1863. It stands out for its simplicity and contains all the aspirations that a modern democracy strives for.
It marked a turning point in the way that the elite, if you like, or the powerful, the politicians, communicated with the public at large, and it was just a wonderful, simple speech. It was something like 261 words in total, and 205 of those were one syllable, and I love it because of that. But of course it had that terrific soundbite to die for about government of the people, by the people, for the people, which is technically a work of genius.
However clever the rhetoric or skillful the speaker, Tom Clark believes that a speech is remembered only if it captures the zeitgeist, the spirit of the time.
I think that the speeches that we really remember are those that, for us, define a personality, or those that, in some cases, demolish a personality or rally a cause in a way that it's not quite been rallied before. And so we can look back then and identify the speech as something that changed history.
But on this January night, at this defining moment in history, you have done what the cynics said we couldn't do.
Barack Obama speaking in January 2008 after he won Iowa's Democratic nomination in the race for the American presidential election.
That had a ring of authenticity about it, both because he wasn't white and also because it was, of course, true. Every black activist, every white racist had said that this day would never come, and him contradicting what everyone had agreed on before that, simply by saying it, it came from him, it moved the audience and it defined the moment.